So I'm going to give you two other ways to look at it. One is very simplistic in that at this point last season, they got off to a 2-4 start, correct? With the better portion of the schedule ahead of them, NC State, Pitt, and they turned it around on the shoulders of TVD and finished strong 5-1. So that's the one thing I'll say about the way the schedule looks. I agree with what you're saying, but I'm just saying that in a similar situation, having dropped a couple games, although Michigan State turned out to be really good, the Virginia team wasn't that good, that they turned it around.
Right, but I'm just also going to interject here. They changed some things, and then that positive performance happened. Just going to throw it out there. Like, changes were made, changes were seen. So, okay, and the other way?
Okay, the other way to look at it, let's look at positional units. So we know what they were last year. We know the good and the bad from last year, going through what is typically, if you slice it up, 10 to 11 positional units on both sides of the ball total. I would have expected after 4 games this season that the coaching staff is good and as accomplished as their coaching staff, we would be looking at 10 or 11 position groups right now, and we'd be saying, that one's awesome. That one's awesome. About 3 of them are awesome. About 1 or 2 are not meeting standards, and maybe one's kind of deplorable, i.e., what linebacker has been the last few years, or what offensive line has been much of the last 10 years. But there's 1 or 2 maybe underachieving and really not that good, but not maybe deplorable because they've been working at it for 8 or 9 months. And then all these other groups are meeting expectations. Outside of maybe the running back position, what position groups are performing well?
Safety, at least with the top group. I want to see a little bit more of Avonte Williams, but I think he needs to earn his way on there. I love Al Blades, but I think Avonte is more talented, for sure. In the second rotation at safety. James Williams is a stud. Cam Kinchins is probably the best of them right now. I think that, he's playing really, 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 really great football. Cam Kinchins, James Williams also, but yeah, I would say that, and tight end has been abysmal. I'm ready for Will Mallory to leave so he can get focused on other players because, 5-6 years in, you are who you are. Your potential and, pedigree and everything matters, but so much. Like, you're a dude, just a regular old guy. And that's fine. That's fine, but like, wide receiver, no. Offensive line, there's a couple guys playing well, but not as a unit. Quarterback, Jake Garcia over Tyler Van Dyke. And for me, at this point, I'm making the switch. But hey. But that's about it, honestly. Defensive line has been good. I'll give defensive line and safeties. Cornerbacks have been hit or miss, lots of misses, especially in this last game. Linebacker, the play has just been atrocious. Atrocious. It's been so bad. Corey Flagg, I did give him credit in a couple of games where he was going forward, leading the team in tackles. And so I'm not going to say that he's not doing something, but, against a team that's going to spread you out, where he has to play in any kind of space, I'm sorry, no. Wayne Steed, same, and I forget who it was, but somebody asked after the second game to Kevin Steele, what would be the possibility of playing like Caleb Johnson from UCLA, the transfer, if playing him in flag at the same time, because Johnson does have that athleticism to kind of cover for some of Flagg's shortcomings. And, he's all, well, they both play mock and, they can't, right? It's like, well, you wouldn't have, a warthog trying to be a beaver, whatever kind of sort of thing he said. But at this point, I don't need to, I do not wish anything bad upon the person at all. but Corey Flagg is not the kind of player who can play in space. So I need somebody else to be out there. I'm sorry, you know? And, you know, people, oh, you know, you're calling out, you know, college kids or whatever. Da, da, da. Look, college football is pre-professional. Like, the performance is what it is. Yeah, I mean, people had no problem calling out Robert Knowles for years. And then his senior year, Robert Knowles actually played pretty well. And I sat up here and I gave him the credit. I said, look, I was one of those people calling for him to, you know, be off the team and da-da-da. But look, he made plays. I'm here for that. I'm fine with that. And I wish them all individually well as people. DJ Ivey, I'm sure that he, from all accounts, he's a great kid. I wish him well. Cool. But the performance just needs to be better. And if the performance can't be better, and especially at a position like linebacker where I know that we have more talented guys, Wesley Basainth, hit the field. Chase Smith, where are his snaps on defense been? Hit the field. And if you're talking about, oh, Caleb Johnson's behind Corey Flagg, why are we not featuring 40 on against a team that spreads you out? It's just, back to your original question, running back, defensive line, safety. Apart from that, no.